All right, we are out here at the Eagle Field, or what once was the Eagle Field. It is currently the Eagle Gravel Pit. What you may not have realized with all this work going on in the back, or maybe some of you haven't driven back here and have no clue what's going on in the back, we are getting a brand new football field, a really nice turf football field. And Coach Hectorn here is going to tell us just a little bit about the process of how that field came to be.
Yeah, it's pretty neat process to kind of see. First of all, there's probably 40 to 50 loads of dirt dump trucks that are taken off of this field. So there's typically a crown. If you've ever noticed a football field, a grass one has a little bit of a crown. They take for drainage purposes. They pretty much take that completely out. There's a slight grade. You probably can't even notice it right now. So they do that with the dirt work, get it all nice and flat and pat down. They lay out the barrier, the weed barrier like you'd put in your flower beds, and then you get probably about 8 inches of rock. That's what people don't realize. They're like, what do they put in front of the rock? Nothing. Like, that's what goes down. So you've got some bigger rock and then some smaller rock that's compacted in about 8 inches worth. And then you've got turf. So they're unloading the turf now. They load that out, roll it out like carpet and sew it together. Add in about 4 or 5 inches of rubber pellets as the dirt, so to speak, and you're ready to roll.
Okay, so the actual turf, which we got footage of, it comes on rolls and they literally roll it out like a mat, and then they have to stitch the seams together, and they have some machine that just goes down those seams?
Yes, it's a gigantic sewing machine that they push essentially, and it sews those seams together, and then they go sideline to sideline, and once they have the field down, they actually go back in and hand cut in the numbers and the logos and things like that. Those don't come already installed, so that takes a good amount of time for that to get done.
Right, and then the field is backfilled with pellets, and these are like little tiny fine rubber pellets basically.
Yeah, so it's chewed up tires more than likely, but yeah, little rubber pellets that cushion it. So that's why you can lay this down on rock, but it cushions the blow and gets all in your shoes. It's awesome.
Now, benefits of turf right off the bat. Little to no field maintenance other than having to refill the pellets and backfill it whenever's necessary. The biggest one is drainage. Talk about that. I mean, you can basically have a rainstorm and 10 minutes later play a game.
Yes, it drains incredibly fast. When you got 8 inches of rock, it obviously the water drains through that really quick. So weather's not an issue. Other than lightning, rain itself is not an issue. A very consistent playing surface at all times. It's going to play the same on a dry day as it is on a rainy day. So that's always great. You don't have to worry about holes being dug and muddy conditions that could be dangerous for athletes. Again, it's consistent across the board. That's great for practice. It's great for games. Again, you can just kind of roll out and play.
And you have coached programs with both types of fields before. The only downside I would say to turf, it's a little bit warm. Tell us about the temperature on turf, especially on really hot days.
Yeah, and especially with the sun. So again, the rubber pellets are black pellets that obviously are going to hold heat. They do mix in some sand that does help with that a little bit more now than what they used to do. But yeah, when the sun's directly on it, middle of the day, it can be warm. It melts your shoes at times. And being seriously, it's really melted soles off shoes. So that's definitely a disadvantage. But really, as far as for us when we're playing, you're talking a couple weeks where we're really dealing with that kind of heat, and then it usually kind of calms down and it's not that bad.
And y'all do most of your practicing on the practice field, which would be traditional grass. Obviously, you'll do some practicing on the turf just to give them the experience because it's a different playing surface.
We'll use the turf as our primary practice field as well. Now, we will use a practice field, especially for sleds and some different drill work, but most of it will be there, one for the consistency of playing on it, but also the fact that our lines and numbers and hash marks and our markings that we use are already there. We don't have to go out and paint. Again, more field maintenance that we would have to do that now we don't because it's there automatically.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait to see all the games that are going to happen this fall on this beautiful new field. We will have a spring game coming up the 16th of May at Center Hill High School. So we definitely want y'all to come out and check that game out. Do you have times for that yet?
We don't yet. I'm thinking 6 o'clock, but we'll let you know here probably next week or so exactly what time that game will be.
Okay, and I would like to mention for everybody just to know, this is an expensive field. The school didn't pay for this out of our own budget. We just don't want you to think that the school's just throwing that money right out onto the field. The county's actually rolled out a program to put these fields for all the high schools.
Correct. Yeah, we did 2 last year, doing 2 this year. The other 3 schools will get turf next year. So it's a fantastic thing. We're very thankful for what they've done, and you know, it's been a kind of a long time coming.
Yeah, and ultimately we'll save the county on all of the maintenance costs, which are expensive.
Very expensive.